In a previous video, I created this AI voice generator app. In this video, we're going to be updating 4 features within the app for them to function better and to add a little bit more functionality. So let's jump in. My name is James and I create SaaS applications using AI prompts to write all the code for everything from the application itself all the way to the marketing material, the websites, everything like that. And you can follow along to see exactly how you can do the same process for yourself. This is the AI voice generator app that I have created. I have a previous video where I show exactly how I got to this stage of development where we are right now. Go and watch that. I'll put a link in the corner and I'll put a link in the description to that video. What we're going to be doing now is the 4 tasks which I explained earlier. So the number 1 task that we had is to get the PayPal fixed, because what was happening was the payment wasn't being captured when someone was making a payment on the app. So on the buy credits page, when someone was selecting to pay via, we only have PayPal on here, it was creating the initial request, but then it wasn't actually capturing the request. So it wasn't making that completed call to PayPal. So what was happening is that from the application's point of view, someone was getting credit, but from PayPal's point of view, it wasn't being completed. Therefore, they weren't actually placing that money in anyone's account. It wasn't actually coming off your card. If you watched my previous videos, you know that I use Cursor to develop these apps. So Cursor have just come out with an update which has the chat and the composer feature in the sidebar here, which is a really nice update, and it means that I've been using the composer a lot more. In my previous videos, you'll see that I've used chat to do most of the functionality, to build out most of that functionality, and composer only here and there. When I was adding these additional functions here, I was using composer a lot more to get the results that I wanted. So the first thing that we wanted to do was update the PayPal. How we would do this in Composer is we would click on Composer. I would tag the entire code base, because there's going to be multiple files in here which it'll need to fix to actually get this working. And then we need to just explain exactly what we want from the AI to fix in our code. What I have found is that it's good to explain exactly what's happening here and give it a little bit more context. So if you just say it's not completing the payment, it might not know exactly what you mean by that, and it'll try to fix it, but not in a way that's been implemented in your app. So by saying that there's a pop-up window that appears, it'll know that that's the way you've implemented it, and it'll capture it in that way. So we've given it a prompt and we can just hit enter. Because we've tagged the code base in here, it'll go and scan all the files for us. And once it's got some context of the files within our app, it will then go and give us the answer. Because we've used Composer for this, what it'll do is it'll automatically go and try and fix all those problems that we're having. So now that it's finished, we can actually go back and we can see exactly what it's tried to do and what it's tried to change and in our code to fix the problem that we're having. So the next task was to add GitHub. And if you are building out an app, it's really important that you have some kind of version control. I ran into this problem on this app because I built this a couple of weeks back. I didn't add GitHub then, and then I came to building these additional features here, and I made a mistake and I asked the AI to do something and it changed a whole bunch of things in the app, and I couldn't just roll it back to a previous version because I didn't have any version control. I couldn't just say that was a mistake, let's go back to my previous version that I had. I had to go and fix every single little problem that I'd caused by asking the AI to do something that was way too complicated for the AI to do, and added a bunch of packages which are outdated, and it basically broke all the functionality within my app. So because I didn't have Git, I had to go and fix each of those problems manually, and it probably took about 4 hours to go and roll all of that back. Whereas if I had some kind of version control, I could just go, my last version worked, let's just pull the code for that version. So adding GitHub is really easy. You log into GitHub or you create an account, and then you create a repository to save everything in. So I'm just going to name this. Once we've created that, so it'll tell us exactly what we need to do here to push our code to the GitHub repository for version control. Here is my repository for this AI voice generator that I've created. And what you can see is that I've now made my initial commit, and I've made several other commits as well, because every time I deploy my code to Firebase, it's also going to deploy my code to GitHub. I've set this up so that when I build my app, it first commits to GitHub. Once it's done that, it runs Vite build, and then it runs Firebase deploy. So it's doing everything that it needs to do. It's pushing the code for version control. It's building the app using Vite, and then it's deploying all of that to Firebase to my live version of the app, so that I just run one command and all my code gets backed up, everything gets run as it should, and it goes to Firebase as it should. The next two tasks that I had was to increase the text limit from 300 to 500, and then also to add additional AI into the app so that you can create your text from a prompt. So what I did here was in Cursor, I came to my composer. Again, I tagged my code base, and then I asked my code base to increase the limit from 300 to 500, and then also add an additional block where user can input a prompt, they can click generate, and it'll send that prompt to OpenAI. OpenAI will run it through their AI model and then give a response and put that response into our voice generation block, where we can then generate voice on that prompt. So I explained that to Cursor. So we give it a prompt, we hit enter, and it's going to go and change everything that we need for that. Now what we can see in the app is that we have changed from 300 to 500 credits. We now have this AI text generation. To use this functionality, we select a language. We're going to select English. We're going to select a category. We're going to select celebrities. And then we're going to choose a celebrity. We're going to choose Snoop Dogg. And then we're going to ask the AI to generate us a small amount of text as Snoop Dogg would tell us. We click the generate button. It's going to send that prompt to OpenAI. OpenAI is going to give us a response, and it's going to take that response and put it into our generate voice block. So we can see it's given us quite a nice shopping list here, and we can say generate voice, and we now have Snoop Dogg's shopping list.
Faux shizzle, I need me some gin and juice. Gotta grab some blunts and rolling papers. Don't forget the snacks like chips and dip. Stock up on my favorite cereal, Captain Crunch. And of course, gotta have that top shelf Kush.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you can keep up to date with all the projects that I'm doing. I work on multiple projects, and I'm doing everything from creating the marketing material in terms of the website and all the content on the website, all the way through to the app, iOS apps, Android apps, web apps, and I do everything using AI.